Hi everyone, Mon here. Welcome to the channel. And the channel is The Soul Savant. And you are a soul savant if you are watching this video. I'm not advertising this channel out there. We'll just see how we go here. I think it's a great platform for me to start sharing my experience. And it was a little bit uncomfortable with the first part of the meditation video, namely because I haven't sort of shared that with anyone else. And I was aware. I was aware that I was exposing myself to the public. But I guess these are the times that we need to do that. It's a personal experience for sure. You're being a soul savant. Um, in the runes, there's one of the runes embodies the energy of wholeness. And to become whole, this rune says it's a profound secret. And though that was written a very long time ago. So these days, I think we can share our secrets of becoming whole to help each other. And, back in the day, if you wanted to live and walk a spiritual path in life, you joined a monastery. In India, you'd go to an ashram. In religion, there was a convent, and you dedicated your life to the growth of your soul. And in saying that, what I've come to understand about spiritual growth is you do not have to go to an ashram or become a monk to say that you're a soul savant, spiritually awakened. What I've come to understand is that you may have an incarnation as a monk for the whole of your life, like the Buddha did. He left his very wealthy family to find the cause of suffering, because he saw suffering when he left the gates of his family palace. Now you could also, after that incarnation, you could then be incarnated as just a general person like myself. And, there may be some area of life that the soul has put into the too hard basket, so to speak. I am very well aware and was confirmed by one of my teachers that I've spent many lives working on my soul as a monk, as a nun. They're the ones I do know. And I have come back in this life to work on an area of my life that obviously as a soul, I left too late, like cramming in an exam, and that was my emotional body and my codependence on family. And you could be highly spiritual like the Buddha, but need to incarnate to overcome within the soul the lessons of emotional maturity, emotional IQ, and individuation, as opposed to codependence on family and friends, right? So, I'm very aware of that. So you may have been a monk or a nun in a past life. I don't think it's a progression of up the scales. It can go all over the shop, okay, when we incarnate and our soul chooses what lessons we'd like to take up in this spiritual school here on earth as a human being. All right. Thank you to one of our subscribers who mentioned spiritual hygiene, because yes, as she said, as a light worker, all light workers should practice spiritual hygiene every morning. With that video last week, after I made it regarding the meditation and everything that I talked and discussed. You know, it all seems like a blur when you finish the video. You've almost got to go back and watch it to see what you actually did say, which I did. I listened to it again. So there's just a few things. It won't be a long video, just a few things that I want to add this week, because even after I'd finished the video, I still more downloads were coming, right? So great. Let's practice spiritual hygiene daily. All right. Years back, maybe around 2014, a teacher said to me, "Wow, Monique, you're so hypersensitive that as soon as your feet hit the floor of a morning, you need to cover yourself in the light." Well, I sort of understood that, because my time as a Christian minister, we were covering ourselves in the blood of Jesus, which today I don't need to do, because I know that I have protection, right? And that protection is my soul's protection from the previous incarnations of good work that I have done. I would, if I wanted to label it all, I would say that I have angels protecting me. When I left the Christian ministry, I felt a little unguarded, and I felt that I didn't have a spiritual covering over me. And my higher self said, "Go and get an angel tattooed on your back," and that's what I have since 2005. Before that, 2003. 2004, I've had an angel tattooed on my back, and I didn't have any other tattoos at that time. Nobody was really getting tattoos at that time either, so it hadn't really taken off, the tattoo. And so I have an angel praying on my back, and that was how I was protected by my higher self, that I do have a covering. This is before 2012 and a lot of the information that came out about becoming a soul savant in this era. All right. So spiritual hygiene, yep, we're practicing that every day. And whether you're a monk or a nun or any other incarnation, believe it to be true. Just because you're living this life now as a mother or a father or a business owner or what have you, you look like a normal general person, not a spiritual ascetic. You still have, your soul still carries whatever incarnations that you've had, where you have reached those higher spiritual awareness, consciousness levels, if we want to call it that. So I just want to, in the description box, I'm going to pop the links to all of the chakra videos that I made. Now, those chakra videos aren't just they're not repeating, Indian theology or what have you about the chakra system. These videos are relating to the chakras and issues that we come across in everyday life. Okay, so I'm just going to touch on them briefly today. And, I'd like to say this now. Something that's helped me along the way is the statement from Napoleon Hill, no relative of mine, by the way. Whatever the mind can believe and achieve, whatever the mind can believe and conceive, the mind can achieve. And when I came across that statement from Napoleon Hill, he wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. And it's an old book. Yeah, it must have been written in the 70s, I'd say, and 60s or 70s, maybe even earlier than that. But, I really do understand that. Somebody had spoken that statement to me, and I've never forgotten it. Whatever the mind can believe and conceive, the mind can achieve. And that's what we're all doing in this evolution of humanity. Wherever the group mind is going to take us, that's where we will be. So educating as many people in raising our frequency is very important in this day and age. After understanding that, you know, our mind has the power, right? And if we use our mind for the power of good, wow, what could we create, right? And in this day and age, many people are realizing that what they thought was true was not true. And, you know, that is the collapsing of the old paradigms of the mind. All right. So whatever the mind can believe and conceive, the mind can achieve. So everything that I discussed in last week's video on the light and the Taurus and the macabre and the white channeling light, you know, I believe all of that, and the mind conceived that. However, I did read it initially first, so I didn't make that up. So let's get to the chakras. Now the first, second, and third chakra, it is noted that the modern 21st century human, those first three chakras need a lot of work. Okay, they're imbalanced or they're closed. Okay, so the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth chakra can all be closed or become imbalanced by trauma, whether it's DNA trauma or the trauma from the individual from this life. And there's many ways that the trauma can close these chakras down. And so overcoming trauma and doing the shadow work will help to open and clear and balance all of your chakras. This is very important. Now, with the first chakra, which is our grounding chakra, our connection from the light, the spiritual being, with the earth, okay, with Mother Earth. So, you know, this is also where the fruits of our life, we ground that first chakra. And a poverty mentality can also affect the first chakra, and that would come from your early conditioning, your family conditioning, the poverty mentality, lack mentality. Religious addiction is also another product of a blocked first chakra. And go and have a look at the videos, because I do expand on this. I made these a couple of years ago, and I think they're very valuable to the modern human being. The second chakra, it can be a creative block, okay, where you know, your conditioning is don't do creativity, there's no money in that. Where creativity is being blocked, your emotional, your connection with your emotional body, right? Your feeling body has been blocked, which most people's have. I mean, if you grew up in my generation, it was stop crying and get on with it. So bang, your conditioning can shut that second chakra down. Your third chakra is your self-esteem and how comfortable you feel about shining bright. And I did discuss last week about the tall poppy syndrome, or the first week. The first video was about, I discussed the tall poppy syndrome, and being brave enough to be able to shine your light into the world with criticism and judgment. Okay, so those first three chakras are so important. And the first three chakras then connect to the heart chakra, which can be easily blocked, the heart chakra, through relationship grief or relationship loss with the heart chakra, through hurt. Early conditioning of family bullying to one child, it can be blocked. There's many ways. And so that heart chakra connects the lower chakras to the higher chakras, all right? And these all need to flow, okay, to be operative and to be beneficial to the being as well as the collective. The fifth chakra, this is the chakra that I had, that was very hard to unblock. As a child, I wasn't allowed to speak what I thought, and so it was easily blocked. And then it got to the point that I actually remember having pain, and the words couldn't even come out when I was being disciplined or what have you, and it wasn't my fault. It was unfair. I couldn't even speak, and the pain on the throat. Okay, so this is a thing. So that chakra needs to be unblocked to be able to have the voice, to have your needs met. Okay, your individual needs met. The sixth chakra. Now this can be blocked or unbalanced is probably a better word for that sixth chakra. Religious addiction can block that sixth chakra. And you could be that highly spiritual that you know earthly good. I find this a lot with people who have gone down the rabbit hole very deeply with off-planet awareness and consciousness of other beings, off-planet other beings, going so heavy into that it's no earthly good, because anybody who is just awakening, if they hear all of this UFO off-planet being information, it can turn them off walking a spiritual path. Everything's got to be balanced, and everything, because in the heart is sown the truth. In the heart of every human being is sown the truth, so that when we do speak the truth, anyone who's just waking up for the first time can have a heart check and know that it's the truth. Whatever they've just heard, they know it's the truth. So that's why we need our chakras balanced. If we're doing any sort of teaching, sharing to others that are awakening, because our whole purpose is that we are wanting to help others to awaken, to free humanity, the collective. But if we make it too loopy and too out there, that can turn away others that we are trying to help, right? So the chakra system, and for the seven, I didn't make a seventh video, because I feel that once you've gotten to your through your six chakras and cleared, it is your own higher self that will preach to you and speak into your life, okay? And you will learn that way, rather than me sharing that seventh chakra with you. So just a short video, my prayer is that everybody understand how important meditation and connecting with the divine is, because up until now, humanity has had a veil between ourselves and our higher self, right? And that's because religion was in play for a few thousand years, right? But that has changed, obviously, in the last 50, 60 years since I've been on planet, actually. So, it's a new frontier. Mastering the mind is so important, because, as the Buddha came and went, taught us, it's a cause of suffering, the mental desires and the mental gymnastics that we get ourselves into. A mind that is mastered, the fruit of a mastered mind is peace and serenity. And that's how I live my day-to-day life, is in peace and serenity. And you won't even know how that feels until you step into peace and serenity. And another word for that would be contentment. All right. So I love you all. Just a short video to recap. It is so important. Spiritual hygiene. Thank you. And connecting with the higher self, which is the divine, which is flowing in and out of all of us and every sentient being, as well as all of the nature, Mother Earth, all of our sphere and the energy of it. It's all the divine, and the divine is love. All right, so thank you very much. Love you all, and I'll see you next week.